Greetings, y'all. Good day, Grand Rising. This is Coach Veronica Marie, and I am here to talk about healing from breakups. I think this topic is so important because many people create emotional trauma because they do not know how to process a breakup, right? And when I say breakup, I'm talking about a romantic connection no longer being intact. For some reason, the relationship has come to a need to separate. Now, while some of these concepts apply to romantic breakups, it could apply really to any connection ending. And the thing is, nobody really teaches us how to move with and through emotions, how to handle disappointment and such. And the result is there's this element of pain and heartbreak that is very much generated within individuals, and some of it doesn't even come from the breakup itself. Just hear me out. So when you are needing to relieve yourself or release a connection, it's necessary to understand that in dating, people do break up. I don't know many people who start with the idea that they want to break up later. Many times people get into connections because they feel hopeful, right? Sometimes they get in for other reasons, like they feel pressured or in fear or something like that. But a lot of times you get in a romantic connection because you feel hopeful, you like the person and such. And I'm talking about these situations. And so nobody is anticipating a breakup or for things not to go well. And here's the other thing: the great majority of people don't communicate well. They don't know about emotions, how to handle them, much less handle somebody else's emotions. It just all begins to be a struggle. So, the first thing to remember is you're going to have to know how to handle emotions. I have videos on what are emotions and emotional alchemy. Those lessons are so necessary. But as I said just a few seconds ago, understand that it is the lay of the land when you're dating to experience a breakup. Most people do. And when you think about the number of people you date versus the number of people you remain with in longevity, a lot of times you date more people or you commit to more people than you end up with. You only end up with one person usually, if you do that, right? So I need you to remember that breaking up does happen. No, you did not expect it. No, you did not want it. Maybe you didn't anticipate it, expect it. That's the same thing, but it does happen. And that seems small, but it's a very potent point because it's almost as if people forget that everyone who comes into your life is not there to stay. Just because you want them to stay doesn't mean they will. And so, in order to heal from a breakup, you have to receive that. We live in this world of transience, of impermanence. People come and people go. And that's not to say that we're taking a callous point of view on connection, but what we are saying is you have to learn the art of receiving and releasing, allowing and letting go. And if you don't do that well in other areas, you probably are going to have a great deal of suffering during a breakup. Am I saying that's easy? No, but I'm saying that this concept of releasing, accepting, releasing, receiving, allowing, letting go has to become part of your personal spiritual practice in all things. And that really is under the concept that goes under the umbrella of the concept of non-attachment. I'm not talking about detachment right now. I'm talking about non-attachment. Non-attachment to what? We can enjoy souls. We can enjoy connection. We can enjoy other people without being attached to a certain kind of outcome. Most people, when they start dating, they say they want freedom and they just want to be easy and allowing. But the element of attachment comes in, and that chokes freedom, it chokes ease and allowance. And so this is tough in the dating world where people want to be intentional about dating, right? And I'm not saying don't be intentional about dating, but be intentional about the quality of the connection more than you are intentional about the role, if that makes sense, right? So the role is girlfriend, boyfriend, wife, husband, life partner. That's the role. None of us can predict what the future will bring. So if you attach to something that is not predictable, then you are setting yourself up for heartbreak that's even more difficult than when you first began. We practice non attachment. Yes, I desire to be with this person. Yes, I desire to create longevity. I also understand that that's not always the case, but I'm not going to allow that to stop me from enjoying my connections. I'm not going to allow that to move me into fear. The fact that this world is impermanent or and unpredictable, I'm not going to allow that to cause me to contract away from beautiful experiences with other people. It takes some courage, right? It takes some courage because there is a risk of things not going well. That's the lay of the land. You have to remember that. So then you learn to plug into a person's soul rather than the role. And some people are placing more emphasis on the roles that people play in connections, romantic connections in particular, than the actual soul connection. You have people trying to stay together and they're not aligned. They're not happy simply because they're attached to a role. They're attached to some type of norm or condition. So not only must you remind yourself that this world is a transient space and time. We move in and out of connections. Secondly, understand that this non-attachment is necessary, right? Maybe you can be attached to having a good time if you want to attach to something. Be very interested and intentional in enjoying every moment rather than looking into the future. And am I saying not have desire? No, you need desire to manifest the quality of relationship you're interested in. But desire is different from attachment, right? And it would be a good idea to discover and explore the ways that these two are different. When you are attached, you will remain in dysfunction and create stress and all kind of confusion and chaos in your life and other people's life. When you are in attachment, you will not want other people to move freely. So that will move you into insecurity and fear. You will begin to fear people leaving and fearing abandonment and fearing disconnection because you are attached to a role. When you value a person's soul, you love their presence, you enjoy it, you create meaningful moments. But you are also able to understand that you're dealing with an autonomous being, a being who has their own thoughts and own ways of seeing and own emotions and such. And when you value autonomy, You have no desire to control someone's movement because of your own fear. So you have to value autonomy and realize that this person choosing to move away from you or exit the relationship is not a crime. I'm not saying you liked it. I know you don't like that. I don't like it either. But when we understand the lay of the land, we know that these things do happen and it is not the end of the world. Oftentimes, when people break up, I hear them saying things like, I can't take this. I can't take another heartbreak. I can't take another breakup. I can't take. Why are they saying this? This person is telling me that they have no clue how to move through transition. This person is telling me that they're very attached to a certain outcome, so much so that they have limited themselves and brought themselves into a fear-based existence. They have come into powerlessness. This person, when they say, I can't take it, my heart is breaking, I'll never love again, I'll never do this person is telling me they do not know how to move with emotions. And it's actually a language of the soul. When a person is saying these things, maybe you're the person. It's your soul speaking. Your soul is confused. Your soul is wondering, how does this work? What do I do when this happens? What am I supposed to do with the disappointment? What do I need to do about my sadness? How do I move through this in a healthy way? That's what your soul is saying. But your mental is attaching and clinging such that you cannot receive the message and the lessons of the situation because there is the attachment. Attachment prevents you from learning what you need to learn. And so you will focus and fixate on the role that the person is no longer playing. And if the person is even willing to be in your life through a transition, you will push them away because you're fixated on a role. You don't want to be my boyfriend. You don't want to be my girlfriend. You don't want to be my husband. You don't want to be my wife. You are fixated on a role. Listen, all of us have come into this existence doing this very same thing because we don't get any teaching on emotions and disappointment and transience and non-attachment. We don't grow up with these lessons. So I'm willing to bet that almost everyone has done something like this. And so if you have, this is your opportunity to evolve into a more mature way of thinking, a more expanded way of thinking. What do I suggest as I'm coming to a close of this talk? Maybe you can seek therapy or a coach. I offer one-on-one coaching on my website, veronicamarie.com, right? And learn how to move through your emotions. A lot of people are in fear because they have no clue what to do with hard emotions. And so they would rather be in dysfunction or in a relationship that's not aligned, in a connection where they're not happy, then face their own emotions. They're afraid of themselves ultimately. They're saying they don't want the breakup, but what they're also saying is when we break up, I'm going to feel this way. I don't know what to do with it, and I rather not. It's easier to be in the connection than to face the fact that I don't know what to do with my hard emotions. Healing from a breakup is going to require you to learn how to deal with hard emotions and not retreat into powerless stories and blaming and guilt and shaming another person simply because they have chosen to exit a role. I'm going to come back tomorrow and talk more about this on the topic of powerlessness. Many people move into powerlessness after breakups. They forget their divine creativity, but also they see the other person at fault. They say things like they didn't see my worth and I'm not forcing anybody to be with me. All of these statements tell me that this person doesn't know how to hear their soul. And I want to help you hear your soul, heal from your breakups, and create beautiful connections. My name is Veronica Marie. You can reach me at veronicamarie.com. We can also connect on social media platforms, just hashtag Veronica Marie. I'm on TikTok and also Instagram. And that is it for the day. I do have an ebook on my website. It's called Self Intimacy, a beginner's guide to self discovery. So if you're having a hard time with a breakup, that book could help you come into more intimacy with self, more understanding of self, more acknowledgement of self, and learn how to integrate all of what you've learned into a lived out practice. That's it for today, y'all. Have a beautiful morning.